All right, so I'm just driving home, and just going to talk a little bit about the session and how it felt. So first things first, just coming off of my diet, I still feel really fatigued. And that makes sense. I got down to 5-6% body fat. I could basically step on stage at any point right now. And the reality is that I lost 13 pounds. I went from 202 to 189 in about 6 weeks, which is pretty rapid rate of loss, especially as I was starting off, somewhere between 10 and 12% body fat. Um, and there is a fatigue that you have to pay. And with coming out of a diet, you kind of need to, you guess what maintenance is, and you reverse your calories upwards, and then you make changes based off of that. And historically, I know that I tend to ramp up my metabolism. I start to drop weight. It takes a few adjustments for me to start feeling really good. So my expectation is not that I'm going to feel like immediately better. It takes time to reverse these diet adaptations and whatnot. So I'm just trying to be as patient as I possibly can. Work closely with my nutrition coach and just tell her how I'm feeling, what body composition is doing, etc. And so just playing it by ear that way. Anyways, my squats felt overall fine. The main thing is that I need to bring in my belts because my waist is so much smaller from this diet. It just feels hard to produce force because I don't have the same stability in my spine. But 195 for 2x2, pretty good. RPE 5, so I'll take it. And then my belt squats, it went fine. I'm still feeling pretty glycogen depleted. So randomly you'll see that I kind of have my sets go from being it looks easy, and then all of a sudden I hit this wall, and that's just because of glycogen depletion and differences in levers and whatnot. Because you lose body fat, you have less cushion around your knees, around your hamstrings, which is why I'm still using my knee sleeves on those. I basically might just feel better about what my knees are doing. But overall, I was able to progress those again from last week, so I'm happy about that. Leg extensions went fine. I'm doing them single leg just because I liked having a little bit of unilateral work, and ever since I hurt my left side of my back, that left side still feels a little bit like it's not as good at engaging as my right side. So keeping a little bit of that unilateral work just to make sure I keep that connection strong. The adductor work went fine. Again, I do those more higher reps because it makes me I feel better mindless muscle connection with that, a little bit less joint pain and connected tissue pain with that. Then I did 3 sets of preacher curls. I really make sure I'm getting a full stretch on those, the weight all the way down. If I can't do that and I can't go up from that spot, I am reaching failure. And I think that's important. It's even I do this where I'm oh shit, getting really hard. I'm going to cut the range of motion a little bit, and it's really important to standardize that and understand that you need to go down a certain amount to get the most for the exercise. And just hey, if you can't increase weight that session, that's fine. You just need more time to make the adaptation. I always tell my clients, even if you only make a 0.5%, 1% strength gain, block to block, every 4 or 5 weeks, or however long your blocks are, that's a really big difference across the year. And that means there's going to be some pretty significant physique changes. And then did some lat prayers. Again, I do those higher reps because I'm really trying to feel more of a mind muscle connection with my lats on those, just because that's something I need to improve on with my posing for bodybuilding. And then did some ab work I didn't film. Did 2 sets of weighted medicine ball crunches and then 2 sets of planks, and did some cardio. So yeah, overall a good session. Given the context, again, being patient, I still don't feel very good, but being patient with that. My plan for the rest of the month is to get back up to what I think is theoretical maintenance, where I'm not dropping weight, and then go into a 200-calorie surplus as soon as I possibly can, as soon as I find out the maintenance period. So it's going to take anywhere between 2 to 3 weeks to sort of figure that out, and that's what I'm thinking. And then bulking from 189, 190-ish up to 200 pounds for my meet in August. And then if I feel like I've made the necessary improvements to my physique, I will step on stage in October. So yeah, that's the plan. That's the session. If you guys have any questions, ask down in the comments below. One thing I actually want to say before I go is the biggest thing that this cut has taught me with my training is what what parts of my program have been junk volume and which ones haven't been. Because I feel like when you're cutting, you're just so much more like transparent with every aspect of your life, and like how much sleep you really need to perform your best. Like what are the upper limits of like stress you need to have, like how much part of your programming is like actually doing something versus just causing a little bit extra fatigue. It's like you can't do a little bit more volume like a bulk, but it's not that much. Maybe like 20% more, which is like 2 more sets. So that's something that's been interesting too. It's like I feel like with my programming, it's going to just be a lot more like better managed as a result of this. So long term, I'll be totally fine. So yeah, anyways, if you guys have any questions, ask them in the comments below. If you want to apply for coaching, links to apply are also down in the description below. But talk to you guys in the next one. So this session is my secondary squat session, and so basically I have more light squat work and a little bit more accessories just because I don't go very heavy on my squats. Today it's supposed to be like RPE 5 to 6 doubles just to help me get some more technique practice and to be a little bit more in tune with heavy weights on my spine. Just get that heavier axial loading stimulus, and then I do more accessories, so I get like probably like the bulk of my quad accessory work on today. I will do some belt squat work after my primary day, but that's pretty minimal. It's only a couple sets. Whereas today, I do a 2x2 on squats and then 4x 12 reps. I got 13 though because like I felt like I had it. And then I do a couple sets of leg extensions, some adductors, and then just like some auxiliary arm stuff. But yeah, that's kind of how my training is laid out. I like separating the adaptations because I find that I recover a little bit better. Helps me just also like mentally like get that bodybuilding itch out of the way, since like that's a big goal of mine, is to improve my overall appearance. So yeah, I feel pretty beat up today. I'm still coming out of my diet. I actually dropped a pound despite increasing calories. So this is because I don't really have much glycogen because I just can't like contract as well, but doing my best. This is always kind of a rough period, but this block is meant to be more like recovery anyway. It's not really being pushed that hard, because when you go down to like 5-6% body fat like I did, there's a lot of fatigue associated with that. So slowly ramping up calories, being patient, and then auto-regulating training volume based off of recovery. So recently I've been biasing a little more towards slightly lower reps in my program. So in the past I would do like I think a little bit more sets in like the 15 to 20 rep range. The reason why I've gone more down to like 8 to 15 is because it's just easier for me to get close to failure. It's also a little bit less fatigue because you're not having the metabolic byproducts, the metabolic fatigue accumulate, or as a byproduct of the higher reps with the low reps. And its proximity to failure is a little bit easier for me to gauge. The times I might go to higher reps is like if my joints hurt, or I find that just like an orthopedic perspective, it's easier for me to just tolerate, like on those adductor machines. Like I'm really just doing those just to get like some blood flow and help keep those a little bit healthier. So that's just like my overall thought process behind it. I think most of the time you should probably have your accessories be a little bit lower rep, just because it's easier to gauge proximity to failure. But adding in some higher rep work here and there, is totally fine, as long as you're actually pushing close to failure and you know how to differentiate between just like stopping because of the burn, or because you're actually like mechanically close to failure.